Want to make sure that I don't have any crazy background noise or anything like that. Yeah, there you go. Good job. Warm up those fingers, guys. I know you guys are going to have some questions probably later on as we go through this demonstration and near the end. And please do not be shy. We love to hear all questions, good and bad, all comments, all jokes. Jokes are good. No, not a problem there either. Just like I said, don't be shy and type in there anything you want. I'm going to be trying to answer all of your questions as they come in, unless Herc is about to answer them for you. So we'll get this show started here in just a few more minutes. We're just waiting on a few more people to get GoToWebinar up and running, get their microphones and all their speakers dialed in to the correct correct decibels so that everything is working correctly. One thing that I do want to note, that if for some reason you do lose sound or you do lose video, the best advice I can give you is perhaps restart GoToWebinar. That's what I would do first. Log out, log back in, that kind of thing. That should usually fix the problem. Well, let me preface that. Usually, if you just give it about 30 seconds, everything will start working again. But what I would like to ask you to do is, like, don't start tapping into the box that it can't hear, can't see, because sometimes the presenter can see that, and then he thinks that no one can hear him, and kind of throws him off of his game there for a minute. So I'll be monitoring Herc, and if we do lose sound or audio or video on Herc, I will be certain to cut in and let him know that. So I really, really would appreciate if you do have any troubles that you simply restart, wait a minute, and then maybe restart GoToWebinar. If that doesn't work, maybe there's something bogging down your bandwidth. It could be your Skype is on or something like that. I do know that sometimes Skype on low bandwidth systems can cause a few problems. So if you could shut down Skype, that would be great if you have any issues. All right, well, cool. Well, again, like Tom said, my name is Todd Spears, and I have been kind of in the SEO game for a really long time. Been developing some softwares and some trainings and some techniques and some strategies since way back in the day. And I've teamed up with my partner Herc here, and we're going to bring Herc on in just a second. I just kind of wanted to set the stage a little bit here. And also, as Tom mentioned, Herc's been got involved with the SEO game here pretty hard over the last 3 years. Now, don't let that fool you. Herc has been a pioneer on these interwebs since about as long as I have. I think we both came along. I think I started around 96 and he started around 98. So we're dinosaurs, is what most people call us in this industry. So we've seen it all, done it all, and we have the T-shirt to prove it in most cases. But that's just a little bit about our background. We've teamed up actually over the last couple of years and started developing software, more software for the internet industry. We put out a product last year, last February, so a year and a few months, called Project Supremacy. Did anybody on the call today heard of Project Supremacy that we launched last year? Anybody out there? Yes. Okay, great. Yeah, hey, Steve, I recognize the name there. Yeah, so we launched Project Supremacy last year, almost a year and a half when it first started. And yeah, it's done really, really well. We're really, really proud of that product. But that's kind of one of the great products that we had last year. This year, we've started in with a new technology here called SERPTech. Can everybody see the screen right now and see the box cover of SERPTech? Yes, thank you, Doug. Yes, this is the software that we are going to be, there it is. This is the software that we're going to be demonstrating for you here in just a moment. And it's a simple but very, very comprehensive, incredible little piece of technology that we use on top of WordPress to build a site and push a bunch of buttons on it and do this and that, and hopefully at the end of the day we are going to see some great rankings from a brand new domain. Again, as Tom mentioned earlier, there's nothing to buy today. Do not worry, and we are going to try to get you out of here about 20 minutes past the hour, the next hour actually. We're going to go over this build. It's probably going to take us only about 30 or 40 minutes. Then we're going to talk about it a little bit. We're going to answer all your questions about what we've just done and things like that, and then we're going to call it a wrap. Now, tomorrow, same bat time, same back channel, we're going to dive back into what we've done today and analyze the results. We're going to see whether or not we passed or failed the test. And then we'll just have to wait and see exactly how well we do tomorrow. So do not miss tomorrow's webinar because it's going to be really something special as well. We're also going to lay on you another piece of great technology that we won't get into right now, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be some questions about that towards the end of this, but just hang tight and we will get to that. All right, how is everybody doing out there? Everybody settled in? Anybody still have any communication problems? Give me a 1 out there if you're ready to go. All right, great. Looks like everybody's chomping at the bit to get this going. It is exactly 9 minutes past the hour, and this is about the time we like to get this kicked off. So, Herc, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yep. I'm here.
All right, that sounds good, Herc. You are coming in loud and clear on this end. Everybody on out there and GoToWebinar World, can you all hear Herc okay? And see his screen popping in and out. Yes. I do believe everyone can hear and see you perfectly, Herc. So I guess that is enough of the intro, and I will let you take it away.
All right. So what we're going to do here, guys, like Todd said, we're going to put our butts on the line and try to prove to you that we've got our hands on a software here that can do some pretty incredible things, stuff that hasn't happened in a long time in SEO. And I mean, I can show you results, and I will show you results first, just to show you. So, like, for instance, here's a site I built. It's probably going on, I don't know, 5-6 weeks ago now. Tracking 174 keywords, 112 of them are number 1 for asbestos lawyers. Asbestos, of course, is a type of insulation, and it obviously causes cancer called mesothelioma. So and it's a high-paying CPC. It's a high-paying lead gen. So we wanted to build a site around that, and we're targeting like lawyers, litigators, mesothelioma stuff, asbestos stuff. And you can see we got a lot of rankings here. We got a lot of number 1 rankings. So just to even show you on Google for some pretty big cities too. Asbestos prosecutor Cleveland, number 1, number 2. And I won't go over too many results because I think it's more important to show you the build than to just show you results, because you really have no idea what we did, right? So we want to be more transparent than that. Same thing, prosecutor in Chicago, number 1, number 2, number 3, and I'm going to go through these really quick. Cincinnati, number 1, number 2, number 3. Asbestos prosecutor Detroit, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. So we're not even talking about page 1 rankings here. We're also talking about number 1 rankings, and which is even cooler, we're also talking about dominating the first page. So just one more example. Here's a site that I built for a buddy of mine in Edmonton, Alberta. I just moved back from Phoenix, and he just started an insulation company called Pride Insulators. So he owns the .com and the .ca, but I built this for him. And look at some of the rankings that we can get here. So like crawl space insulation in Devon near Edmonton, number 1, 2, 3, 4. Roof insulation, we're number 1, 2, 3, 4. So I mean, we can really do this time and time again. This one's even better. Look at that. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, and number 7. And then Spraytech and Homestars. So we can really dominate, and that's what we're going to attempt to do for you guys. For you today. And the most transparent way for us to do it is to actually do it on a site that was built, or not built, but registered today on a domain. So I'm going to show you this image here. Okay, we ordered these domains from Namecheap. So the one that I chose is cozybros.pro, and we're going to do another installation style targeting a bunch of insulation type keywords, but we're going to do it down in Calgary, Alberta. Those are the absolute 2 biggest cities in Alberta. They're both about 1 million people. And so I register like kind of a brandable domain, cozybros.pro. And you can see the reason .pro, well, because they're cheap. If you go to Namecheap, you can see I registered this today, June 7th, okay, 12:49 in the afternoon, and it cost $1.06. So there's a lot of myths out there about things like Google sandboxing. When you build new sites, they take a while to index or to rank, or that you need certain types of domains, .com, .net, .orgs. But we're going to try and put some of those myths to bed and show you that we can, hopefully live on the webinar, take a brand new site that we paid $1.06 for and get some rankings today. So there obviously is a little bit of work that I did in preparation for the webinar, just so you guys know, you know, what did you do to the site before the webinar. So, I mean, transparency is the goal here, right, guys? Transparency, transparency. So the only thing I did is I set up a couple things. So you can see keywords here. These are the type of keywords that we're going to go after. Okay, so I got a list of keywords like insulation replacement company, companies, contractors, home, radiant, house, just basically insulation services. Okay. And then the locations that we're going to go after is all over Calgary. So we're going to try and take down the city of Calgary, which, like I said, is a million people. Okay. So what I've done is took a bunch of locations in Calgary. All right. And that's all that looks like. And I can even show you how I got that. It's pretty simple. We just go to Google. Well, Google Maps to be more specific. All right. And then we just zoom in on Calgary, which is right up here. There's Edmonton and Calgary. And what I'm going to do is try and dominate all over Calgary, because there's nothing more awesome than dominating an entire city. So as you can see, as I get closer and closer and I zoom in, you can see all these little suburbs showing up. So like Thorncliffe, Brentwood, Varsity, Bonus. I also went after other towns that are nearby Calgary. So like Chestermere and Airdrie and Balzac. That's a funny name, Balzac. But all those. So we're going to target it. Now, one thing we can do, guys, what we could have done if we wanted to is we could have actually had Calgary as well as Edmonton, or I could have targeted the biggest cities in Alberta. So we build basically silos with SerpTech, right? So I can silo by state. So I can have a silo for British Columbia, for Alberta, and for Saskatchewan. Or if I'm into the States, I could have a silo for Nevada, Utah, and Colorado. And then we could target all the biggest cities in Nevada, Utah, and Colorado. We build a 3-silo site. But for the sake of being quick on the webinar, we're only going to target one city up in Canada of Calgary. So the time that it took me to put these things together, to do the keyword research and stuff like that, really only takes me about 20 minutes. Obviously, I have a process that I follow, and once you have a process, things are really quick and easy. And that is a process that we teach to people that are in our group. But it only took about 10-15 minutes to get those things put together. And then, of course, I obviously registered the domain, okay, cozybros.pro, and I installed WordPress, and I installed a few plugins. So I'm going to show you the plugins that we used, and I'll even show you the site right now so you can see it's absolutely a blank install of WordPress, completely blank, okay? It's got the Hello World post and all the crap stuff on the side there, okay? So it's absolutely brand new. Excuse me. The only things that we installed for plugins is obviously SerpTech, which is the software that we're going to show you today and how we build the domain. I installed an SEO plugin, Project Supremacy, that Todd mentioned we developed earlier. It is important to note that you can use any SEO plugin that you like. We just obviously developed our own SEO plugin, so we do like to use it. Google XML sitemaps. And just out of curiosity, give me a one if you guys already know what XML sitemaps is as far as like SEO and stuff like that. Most people do, so, but I just want to kind of get a gauge. Yeah, okay, awesome. Everybody knows. All right, so Google XML sitemaps. So, and then the only other plugin is a plugin called Local Supremacy, which we're going to actually show you that tomorrow. It's kind of, you know, first we get rankings, then we get money, and tomorrow's going to be money. Today's going to be about rankings. So we installed that, and really there's nothing that you have to do with that one other than install it. So those are the 3 plugins or 4 plugins that I installed. So it's absolutely a blank website. All right. So what we're going to go do is get into SerpTech and start building this site out. Now it's going to take me, as obviously I want to explain it to you guys as I'm doing things, so it will take me a little bit longer than normal to build these sites. But let me ask you guys a question. If you could spend 30 minutes to 45 minutes building a site on WordPress, and within 24 to 48 hours have hundreds of not only first page rankings but #1 rankings, does that seem like time well spent to you guys? Is that, you know what I mean? Does that seem like a good deal? Yeah, of course. It's kind of a stupid question, but that's what we're going to attempt to do today. Normally it would take me 15 minutes. Obviously I have a process. It's very, very quick, and I don't have to talk to anyone when I'm building these sites, but I'm going to talk you guys through it today, okay? So, and I'll try to answer your questions. I'm sure Todd will be answering questions in the group as they come up as well, but I'll add the questions. So let's go. All the settings are on the left side, and they do happen in a logical fashion with SERP text. So the first thing we want to do, since this is a new WordPress install, is we want to obviously set up WordPress for the optimal SEO situation. So we're going to set our permalinks to category post name, which we all know is good for SEO structure. We're going to delete all the default post pages and comments that WordPress has on every install, so we're just going to leave that there. I can untick this one. That's if I was going to rebuild something, but I'm not going to rebuild. And then we're also going to create an About Me, a privacy policy page, and a contact page, because that's just good practice to have those types of pages on any sites that you build. So I'll just click Submit, and it says, are you sure you want to do this? And then the gears start spinning, and it takes a few seconds, and it's done, and that's it for step one. Should take, there we go. Okay, so done. The next thing that we're going to do, and I actually kind of did this in prep too, is the next thing a site needs when you're building it after you kind of set it up and prime it is it needs content, okay? And one of the big myths, once again, about content, there's a lot of myths out there. There's duplicate content myths, and then there's spun content myths. There's all kinds of content myths out there. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to just take content from one of these three sources, either eZine Articles, Article Cube, or Inc. Now, we have the ability to spin our content, but we're not going to. Okay, I'm going to build this site for you guys, and I'll kind of preface the whole build by saying we're only going to show you the absolute bare minimum of the features of this plugin just to see how powerful it is out of the box. Like, how good of rankings can we get without doing a lot of extra SEO? We're just going to do the bare minimum. So we're going to grab our content from eZine Articles, and I already did that. I'll just show you what I did. I just typed in the word insulation. Okay, I only want 15 articles. Okay, and then I want HTML formatted, and then it says pull the article for each article title and pull it as an H2. Now, kind of what that means is eZine Articles, obviously, when an article's on there, it has a title and then it has the article body. We're going to actually use the titles for H2s in WordPress. Okay, so it pulls the title in. We can use H1s, H2s, H3s, but best practice is usually H2 because the post title is obviously by default an H1 in Google, so we're going to carry on after the H1 using H2s. So I've already done this because I didn't want you guys to sit here and watch this thing spin, because it does take 2 or 3 minutes. But when it's done, okay, you get this in the next tab here on the articles. There's your articles, right? And you can see like kind of the HTML formatting's already in on them. So we can go to the next step, which is the titles of the articles as H2s, okay, and there they are. So all I really have to do once we pull the content is go through and be like, is it about insulation? Because my site is about insulation, so I want my content, excuse me, to be about insulation, so it's obviously a relevant type of content. So I would just go through, and if I saw anything I didn't like, I could just select the stuff I didn't like, and then I could click delete it. Okay, see, I can spin it, but we're not going to, and I can delete it, and it will delete the associated article as well. Or if you delete an article, it will delete the associated header. So it looks all good to me, okay? And that step honestly takes about 3 minutes. It's really, really quick, and I believe that we have an even better content scraper now. It's doing a lot better than this one is now. So that's it for that step. The next thing we're gonna do is now that we have our content in place, and don't worry about these shortcodes, we'll show you what they all are used for in a minute. I'm gonna skip over this keywords and go right to images. So after we have content, we want to pull in some images, okay? Because images are important on a site. So what we're gonna do, installation, we're gonna obviously look for installation images. So I'm just gonna click search here, and now it's gonna go out and it's gonna search Pixabay image service and Flickr image service, and pull back a bunch of images about insulation. Now, I'm not going to worry too much about whether the images are completely relevant looking or not, because really what we're trying to do is build a site that Google loves first, right? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to select these images. Okay, I'm not even going to go through them. These are, I mean, there's some electrical insulation here. There's actually a lot of electrical insulation. Maybe I'll switch from these Pixabay ones to these Flickr ones instead, because they seem to be slightly more relevant. Okay, so we'll just grab all those, and then we're going to click in. Oh, sorry, wrong button. We're going to click this one, and then it'll highlight the images I want. If I didn't like an image, I can actually just deselect it like that. You can see the blue border coming and going. Okay, so once we have our images selected, we click Save Selected Images. Now, what the plugin's going to do is it's going to take these images that are hosted on Flickr and it's going to pull them into our blog, and it's going to host them in our own media library on your actual site. And the reason we do that, obviously, is because we don't want a lot of external links on our site. We want everything to be internally located so that if a spider or we send PBN links to a site later, way later on down the road, all the juice remains inside of the site through interlinking, through images, through every step. We want those images in the media base. So that's what that's doing now. And what we're going to do next is we're actually going to supply images in a WordPress. There you can see it's done. Images in a WordPress blog actually have metadata. Just like in WordPress, when you build a post or a page, you can supply like a meta title, meta description, meta keywords. Okay, that's stuff that Google reads to understand the subject matter of the site. But images actually have metadata as well in the form of meta titles and alt titles for your images. So what we're going to do now that we have these images is we're going to supply keywords for those images. So I'm going to go back to this keywords tab. Okay, now that our images are there. And there's two ways we can do this. Okay, I can do search for a keyword like insulation and just search. And then just all I'm trying to do is grab a bunch of random keywords that are about insulation. But what I've done is I have these image keywords up here as well. So I just downloaded those from, like I went to Google AdWords tool, typed in insulation, got a list of 700 keywords, sorted them by like, I want high competition keywords, meaning people are spending money or competing hard for it on AdWords. They have search volume, they have high CPC, meaning people are spending a lot, they're bidding a lot and they're spending a lot. And then I break it up into keywords, images, and tags, and I'll show you what all those are. So what I'm going to do is instead of selecting these, which can take a little more time, I'm actually just going to import the list for Cozy Bros here. So here's our images keywords. Okay, and that will spin. And then you can see your keywords were imported successfully, and then the page will refresh. There you go, there they are. So now that we have all our keywords, what we're going to do is randomly assign those keywords to the metadata for each of these images that we pulled in. And it's very, very simple. Pull keywords from database. You just do that, and what the software will do is completely at random assign an insulation-based keyword or an LSI-based keyword for insulation to each image. So you guys can see that for all of our images there. And I think we have, I don't know, probably grabbed about 30 images that we can use on the blog. Okay, so it happens really, really fast. So now the next thing is actually the builder. Those steps that you just saw are kind of like the prep work that you do, and now the builder is actually where we're going to create templates, okay, for three items on our site. We're going to create a homepage template, we're going to create a category template, and then we're going to create a post template. And the reason that we're doing that is we want to actually build our sites into a really nice, very well interlinked silo fashion site. So I guess just another question for you guys. Give me a one if you know what a silo is for building a website. And give me a two if you don't really know what a silo is. Oh, how awesome, you guys are smart crew. That's good. Saves me a lot of explaining. Okay, I saw one too. So I'll just visualize this here just really quickly for you to kind of show you what a silo basically is, okay? Maybe later we'll take that. So here it is. It's very simple, okay? Forget these yellow bubbles. We're gonna have a home page, okay? And that home page is gonna link to each one of our silos. So let's say, for instance, my silos were the state of Arizona, California, and Texas. Those would become category pages, the top level after the homepage. So the homepage is going to link to each of our three silos, and then each of the pages, the category page, the state, is going to link to the cities within the state. So Phoenix is in Arizona, Tucson is in Arizona. So the homepage links to the category page links into the posts as part of that category, and then the whole thing links back home, and it just creates a really nice interlinking structure, as well as kind of like a file system. So like Windows is a filing system, Google actually loves silos because it's like a filing system. They can visit any page and quickly understand what the overall subject matter of the site is. So this is what we're going to do. Our site, however, isn't going to be 3 silos. I think actually I saw we're going to build 5 or 6. So that's basically what a silo is. Okay, and so there we are, the home page, the category pages, and then the posts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload our locations. So that was from these files that I showed you earlier. We're going to go all over Calgary. We're going to build all over category. So there's our Calgary CSV, and we're going to upload what keywords do you want to target. So I'm going to choose our keywords. And then it says upload your LSI keywords for tags. Now WordPress posts you have the ability to add tags to those posts. So what we did for those is we just grabbed a bunch of other keywords that were kind of LSIs or synonyms. It's just more randomization, okay? But we'll actually be able to rank for those as well, or hopefully. All right, and then the other settings, we're going to use a final tier as a post, so nothing left to do there. So now we're going to get into our 3 template builds. Okay, so our homepage template. Now, once again, I'm going to build out of the box, guys. There's a lot of options that we have that can help you tweak things once you know how to use this and stuff like that. But I'm going to just build the very, very basics because I want you guys to see what this plugin can do just right out of the box. So all you have to do for each of these templates is up in the top right, there's a best practices. So they're just like certain things that you should do to really get a good result. So number 1 is we're going to need some content on the homepage. So what I can do is open up articles in a new tab so I can switch between windows really quickly. And I'm going to grab some insulation content. So here, this one seems pretty good. Okay, I'm going to grab a couple paragraphs out of that. Okay, I'll just press Control-C, and then I'll come over here, switch over to the text editor, and I'm going to paste in that content and then go back to visual so that it's correctly formatted. All right, so there's our static content. Next it says add some random content. Now, what's the difference between static content and random content? Static content is content you can see and read when you're building the page. Random content is built by inserting short codes for H2s and stuff like that, and I'll show you that right now. So for instance, random content needs images, so I'm going to use this short code. So I'm going to throw in a random image there. Okay, and then I'm going to throw in a random H2 there. So we'll pass by some more static content, and I'm going to throw in another random H2, random article, random image, and then I'll throw in one more random article. Okay, so that's random content, and it's controlled by short codes because we are building a template. Okay, so we use a lot of short codes. So there we go. We got our static, we got our random. And then the next thing that we're going to do here is link to the categories. So now that's a linking structure. It's telling you make sure you link from your home page to each of your categories. And to do that, all you need to do is install the short code categories, which you should see right here. So that's really all I have to do there for the home page. There's 2 other elements to a home page that's metadata for the home page. So our tags, we can supply a tag, and then we can also supply a meta description for the home page. The meta title is going to come from WordPress itself in the settings. I'm sure you guys, since you all know about SEO, you know how to set a WordPress title. But our meta description we can control. But I'm just going to leave the recommended setting in there once again. We can control what it says, but I'm just going to leave it in there. All right. So we're just going to leave tags and modifier in there the way it is. So next, we're going to go to our category template, and you're going to see 2 new things pop up: the title and the URL. These are elements of a page that we can control. So for the title, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use category name, which is the top of the silo. So if we were targeting all the cities in a state, the state would be the category, the city would be the post. Okay, but since we're working in categories, we're going to use category name. Now for the title, I don't want it to just say category. I don't want it to just say Phoenix. We want it to have a keyword, right? So what we're going to do is select a random keyword, and we're going to use this to add it to the title. So I'll click add, and you can see keyword has now appeared in the title. When this page renders out, how this is going to read is, well, I believe it was Calgary, and then one of my keywords. So Calgary basement insulation. Okay, because Calgary is the top level. So URL, we're just going to leave it as Calgary because we definitely want good URL structure, and we don't want to repeat keywords in our URL, so we'll leave it the way it is, and we'll move on to the content. And we're already almost halfway through this build here, guys. All right, so once again, we're going to open up our best practices, and the first one is add some geo-relevance into content. So we're going to need a little bit more content, so we'll come down here, and let's see, whether you live in a hot or cold climate. That's great. So we're going to grab some of that content. All right, and I will take it down to here, and I'll press Control-C to grab it and bring it back over. Go to text and paste in our content and go back over to visual. So now it's saying you need to add some geo-relevance into the content. And what geo-relevance is, obviously, it's geographical relevance. You want the post, if you're targeting Calgary, to say something about Calgary. It helps it do better. So instead of living in South Florida, we're going to delete South Florida, and we're going to add in category name, which will be Calgary. So we're going to add that to the content. All right. So there we go. And then all I'll do is I'm going to bold just the category name. Okay, so that'll show up bolded. All right, and I'll just break that up a little bit, and I'm going to add a nice little H2, but I'm going to manually build it using a little trick that I learned. So we have the best. Okay, and then I'm going to say a keyword, because keywords are our services that we're targeting, in, and then I'm going to say category name. So we have the best basement insulators in Calgary. All right, so then I'll take this whole thing and I'll turn it into an H2. And that's creating geographical relevance there. It's creating geographical relevance there, and I'll just do it one more time. The problem, I'll just make it like this. We'll do it really. The problem in category name add. And this one I won't bold it, or I won't do anything else like that. Okay? So there's our geo-relevance. Now it's saying next best practice is add content and images. Okay. Very easy to do. There's a random image. Let me back this up. Okay, that's good. Make it an H2 again. All right, and now I'm going to add random H2, random image, random article. And then I'll just grab the whole thing, and we'll do it twice. I like that kind of scenario where we have a header, an image, and an article. So now we have random content, we have static content, and we have geo-relevance. Okay, so now it's telling us, okay, link to your category posts with the children tag. You can see there's the children tag. It's already there by default, so that's good. There's nothing we have to do. And then, of course, link back to your homepage. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll actually grab the domain that we're using, okay, and I'll highlight it, and I'll use our short code, and I'll link it to the homepage, so that we're building kind of like a brand awareness of Cozy Bros. All right, and then once again we can edit tags and meta description, excuse me, but we're not going to. We're just going to leave it the way it is. So we've ticked off all our boxes. There we go, done. And now we're going to go to posts, and this is extremely similar to our categories. Okay, it's kind of the same thing, except now you're on posts instead of categories. So now I'm going to add keyword to our title. Okay, so we have keyword post name, and then I'm even going to add the word Alberta, because Calgary is in Alberta, so that's going to give me nice geographical relevance. Okay, so, and then for the URL, however, I'm going to do keyword post name. So just so you guys see how these are going to break down URL-wise, we're going to take our domain. Okay, it's going to be cozybros.pro. We built a category. Our URL was the location of the top of the silo, so Calgary. And then we're choosing keyword and post name. So the keyword would be something like basement insulation. Okay, and then our post name is the location within Calgary that we're targeting. So it might be something like, well, maybe not downtown. I'll just say, I forget what the suburbs of Calgary are. Let's say Idlewild. I think there's one called that. Okay, so that would be our entire URL structure. What you can see is brand, category, keyword, location. So this is extremely good SEO practice for building URL structure. You're not over optimizing anything. You're siloing properly. Google will absolutely love this. Okay, so that's how that's being built, and that's why we chose the metrics that we did here. So that's done. We're going to open up our best practices. Once again, add geo-relevance in your content. So we need more content. We'll just go, there are 3 types of heat. I like this informational stuff. And we're up in Canada, which is typically, we get a lot more insulation for keeping heat than keeping cool, because it's cold. So there we go. So in colder climates, like, and now I'm going to use post name. Okay, so what I'm doing is adding georelevance, by the way, in the top post best practices. So in colder climates, like post name, I'm going to add that to the content. Okay, and I'm even going to highlight all of this now and bold it. And I'm going to change this sentence just so it reads a little better. Okay, so in colder climates like Idlewild, there are 3 types of heat that we need to worry about, blah, 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 blah. So there's that, and then we're going to actually follow that same format as last time. We are the top keyword, basement insulators, in the post name, Idlewild, which is a suburb of Calgary area. Suburb of Calgary. So we're the top basement insulators in the Idlewild area. So now we're going to H2 that, and then we're going to get one more post name in there. So presently in your post name home, in your Idlewild home, I won't bold that. Blah 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 blah. Doesn't matter. Okay. So now we need static content and interlinking. Georelevance, static content. Okay, interlinking, what that is, basically is an opportunity to send bot traffic from one page to another using an external link, plus it starts building up, through anchor text, building up an understanding for Google of what it is. So what we'll do is we'll try to find a nice LSI. So we're learning to become more insulation efficient. So I'll take insulation efficient, and then I will use the drop down and link that to the previous post. Okay, and then down here, once mass, maybe we can do an HVAC system because that is related to insulation, heating, venting, and air conditioning. Okay, so we'll take that and we're going to link that one to the next post. So that's what interlinking is. All right, so now we need random content in imagery. So let's throw in an image right here at random, and we'll throw in, I'll just do the same thing. I'll just be quick about it. Okay, so we'll throw in a random H2, and an H2 is going to be a title from the article, by the way, just so you guys know. H2, an image, and then an article. And then we'll just repeat that process. Now, obviously, guys, I'm building quick. Okay, and I'm building fast just so that you guys don't have to sit here and be bored. But you can control this a lot better than I am right now, but we're just going to do very, very basic stuff and see how it works once again. So we have the random content images, and now our last step is linking to our category top using the category URL. Okay, so we'll signify the end of the page here with the line break, and then we're going to do a category URL. Okay, there we go. There it is. And then the last thing I could do, it doesn't say to do it, but I'll do it. I'm going to link to the home page. So I'm going to do Cozy Bros does, and then I'll do keyword. So Cozy Bros does attic insulation is how it'll read. But then I'm going to take that statement and I'm going to link it to the home page. Okay, and then for a category URL, I'm going to turn it live, so I'll link to the category. So there we go. And we're going to leave tags, and we're going to leave meta description. And that's really it. So now I'm just going to save our build. Okay, and then name it. I'll just even call it build 1. Okay, so as you're going, you want to save your stuff so that, you know, you don't have to, if you make a mistake or something, you'll have a save build that you can carry on from. It actually auto saves now. So it saved our files. That's what these red things are saying. You're using a save build. So that's basically it for the template building process. So now we're going to actually execute the build. Okay, and how long did that take? Like 15 minutes for me to do that. So now I'll click build, and what it's going to do is it's going to take all those templates of content, the templates of the images, the short code templates, and it's going to build a site based on those templates that I just built, and based on the locations. So I'll open that up one more time. Okay, so we're obviously targeting Calgary, Airdrie, Cochrane, Crossfield. And if anyone's wondering why did I, duplicate on the second row, basically the first row is going to be our categories, and then the second row is and so on. So basically this is a category. Let me zoom in. Calgary is the category, and then these are all the posts within the category. But I like to build a post as well as a category for the same city. It's another opportunity to rank. Now, Airdrie, Cochrane, Crossfield, Chestermere are bigger cities outside of Calgary, so they don't really have as many suburbs as Calgary does, but I still want to rank for them, so that's why I get a category and a post for each of those. So that's why I did it that way. So we'll go back to our build, and it says, congratulations, posts have been created. It took 1 minute and 5 seconds to complete the task of inserting 41 posts into 8 categories. So let's go have a quick look at our site. So remember when I showed it to you guys first, it was that crappy WordPress hello world and all the stuff, but now it's an entire site with highly readable content, images that have alt tags, title tags. It's interlinked correctly to each of the places. I'll go to some of my posts here. So you can see our URL. So we have cozybros.pro, Bragg Creek, new home insulation contractors in Bragg Creek. There's our next link, there's our images, there's our previous link. So this is our whole site built out for us that it literally took a minute. So now, once you build it, you have to tell Google about it. So there's a couple more things I'm going to do, and we're about 5 to 10 minutes away from being completely done here. I'm going to turn this into a little bit of a nicer looking site, okay, by adding a menu. And let me close these pages here. So we're going to do 2 menus. One is going to be a header menu. Oh, okay, it's spinning there. So, what happened? The menu conflicts with another menu name. I must have built it twice. Okay, here's our header menu. So what we're going to do is add the home page to the header menu, our contact page, and our about page. All right, there they are, home, contact, and about, and we're going to assign that as the primary menu. And what that'll do is up in the top right, you'll see our new menu pop up. And it's just, there it goes, home, contact, and about. Just creates a little bit more realism for Google. The next menu that we're going to create is a footer menu. All right, menu name, footer. And what we're going to put in the footer menu is we're actually going to do, like earlier I showed you we're using Google XML sitemaps. So what I'm going to go do is set up the sitemap properly really quickly. It only takes like 10 seconds. So if we go to XML sitemap, okay, all I'm going to do is make sure that the sitemap includes our tags. Actually, we'll just include everything because it's better to rank than to not rank. So we'll just include everything, and then we'll update the options. And that's all we need to do for that sitemap, is just make sure everything's included. And then I'm going to grab the link for our sitemap so you can see it. Here is our sitemap. Okay, we're going to add that to the footer menu. So it's going to be a custom link called sitemap. And there it is in the menu now. And then the one more link that we're going to add is going to be our privacy that we created earlier. We're going to add that to the footer menu. All right, and then we'll save it. And now we have to assign this menu somewhere. So what we'll do is go to widgets. And I'm using the 2016 WordPress theme, by the way, just a basic WordPress theme. I just like the way 2016 sets up its interlinking structures and stuff like that. So on the content bottom, we're going to add a custom menu, and we're going to make it the footer menu. Super simple, right? And then I'll show you what that did. So down here, I'm going to refresh this page, and now you'll see that this has a footer menu involved. So now we've accounted for the privacy page, the contact page, the home page, and oh, I guess I didn't give it enough time. Save. And now we have the footer menu with a link to the sitemap, which is great because once Google's bots hit the sitemap, they're easily able to spider the entire site and all the pages that we built. So I'm just making sure it's there. Okay, there it is, sitemap and privacy policy. And that's it for that. Now, the actual last step, the final last step is getting the site actually getting the site indexed in Google. Okay, we've built the site, obviously. We built the sitemap with Google XML sitemaps, but now we need to tell Google about it. A lot of people think you can't get sites indexed quickly or that you go into a sandbox. A lot of people sell tools like indexation tools that are supposed to help speed up that process, but Jason, the developer of SERPTech, he's a really brilliant guy. He actually built the indexer, which is kind of like a second product on its own. So you're not only getting the site builder, you're also getting the indexer as well. He built it into the SERPTech plugin. So here's how it's going to work. We're just going to build a sitemap really quickly. So we have 41 posts, 12 pages, and 1,008 tags. So call it about 1,050 available URLs that we can send to Google to index. Even though our site's only 41 pages, that doesn't matter. We're going to get a lot more than 41 pages indexed. So the search term, insulation, I'll just say insulation contractor, okay? And then don't worry about the settings. We'll explain what those mean once you have the software, but all we're going to do is tick this box, this one, and this one. Okay, it's very, very simple to do. We explain why, obviously, to the members of SERPTech, but for now, for speed, you just have to see that. Now it's asking us, what about our sitemap size? We're going to choose 100. Okay, let's just make it a nice even round number. We're going to try and get 100 URLs of our site. We're going to tell Google about 100 URLs of our site, and hopefully they will come and visit our site. So what it's doing right now is building the sitemap for us, or the indexation magic. So this one does take a little bit of time. It's usually pretty fast, so it's usually about a minute. And if anybody has any questions, I see Todd's already doing an awesome job at answering them, but if anybody has any questions, I have about a minute or 30 seconds to answer it. Okay, all done. Okay, and now the very, very last step, guys, is we're going to notify Google about it. So there we go, sitemap notification received. And we're also going to notify Bing about it. Okay, and thanks for submitting your sitemap. Now, somebody stop the stopwatch because that's it. That's 100% the entire process of this build. Okay, so now all we have to do is sit back and absolutely wait to see what happens. So we built the site, we indexed the site, we supplied the content, the keywords, the locations, and then we used we created a menu, okay, to make it a little more realistic in Google's eyes. We created a sitemap, and then we used the indexation tool, and we told Google about the fact that we're here. Now, I see this comment already, and a lot of people ask this. It's like, okay, it's only 141 pages. You know, some people look at this and they think, oh, shouldn't you build like 1,000? Or they see other tools out there that build thousands and thousands of pages. This is definitely not the way we work. Okay, we definitely build a lot smaller, but we still get just unbelievable results, like I showed you guys at the start of the webinar. We still get great results, and it's in how we're doing things, in how SERPTech was thought out and built. We're still able to get tons of URLs indexed in Google really fast without raising any red flags. The site's only 41 pages, which isn't a crazy big site, right? Like if we were to build a 5,000 or 10,000 page site, which some other softwares do, that's where the red flags come in. That's where things start having trouble getting indexed and they get de-indexed and stuff like that. But we definitely are flying way under the radar. We're building a site that's, I mean, 41 page sites there's tons of them. So there's nothing bad at all with that type of site. Any particular number of words to posts? No, I try to use a little more content than less, so about 2,000 words. Typically, it's about 2 articles. Now, the article lengths that we pull, obviously, we don't know what we're going to get. meaning we don't know what length we're going to get. Sometimes we'll get 300 words, sometimes we'll get 800. So I try and always put static content. I'll put like 300 to 500 words, and then I'll try and include at least 2 articles. I do find that the more content we use, the better the sites do. So there is no real particular number. Kathleen, great question. She says, if you want to build a site where you actually use original content, does that work? Yes, you absolutely can do that. We know some people are a little, iffy about using other people's content or pulling content because, I mean, people have been taught and ingrained that duplicate content matters and stuff like that. And even while we can prove that it doesn't, if you want to use your own content, use quality content or have your writers write your content, you can. All you'd have to do is order the articles. And then in the articles tab right here, rather than pull them, you just import them using this button right here. Very, very simple to do. Great question. Another question by M is, the random aspect of images, alt, text, etc. is very important, right? Yeah, I mean, when we build a site with images, a lot of people don't take advantage of alt tags and title tags, but Google definitely is reading what's behind those images, because Google can't see images, right? Google can't look at a picture. If it was a picture of a box, they wouldn't know it was a picture of a box unless the title tag and the alt tag said, large box, green in color. Then Google would be like, oh, okay, so then when you went to Google and searched, Google Images, they're getting better at it, but they still aren't there. You could say, like, large green box, and that's how Google's able to, like, give you a bunch of pictures of what large green box is like, right? Based on title tags and image tags, because that's the only thing they can read. They can't see pictures quite yet. So it's definitely something you definitely want to take advantage on your own SEO sites, as well as these. Eric, great question. He says, I presume that we add a working contact page or a link to a funnel page. It's a good question, because a lot of people will actually look at these sites and be like, okay, so you rank a site that is black and white with a couple images, and what are you supposed to do with that? Put a contact page on it and expect people to actually look at this as a real business, and that's not going to work. But that's really what we're going to cover tomorrow, how we can get away with taking a site like this and still being able to easily and fully monetize it. Because the one thing you want to do is as little work as possible, to be honest. I'm a pretty lazy guy, so I don't want to spend a bunch of time, designing the theme and choosing a theme and making it look all pretty and stuff like that. Not to say that you can't. You absolutely can. There's just a better way, and we'll show you guys that tomorrow. Gene, so how does this differ from other mass page creators? That's just the thing I was explaining a little while ago. We're absolutely not a mass page creator. We build very small, but we still rank very, very big. And the way we do things, the way we build things, and what's happening in the background is quite a bit different.
Hey, Eric, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Can I
please.
say something real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's Nick. Yeah, on that note with the mass page builders, like I've recently built a mass page builder site, and it was a nightmare. Like I had my own Linux server specifically set up because it was like huge. The thing was huge. Anytime I did any sort of update to it, it took forever. There were all those special tags that I needed to use that actually crashed it all the time. And I think it didn't even end up ranking that well. I went after a keyword like donating cars, because I found out that, like the keywords you were going after, car donations were, I think it was like a $50 payout CPC. And so I had that idea, and I thought it was a great idea, about 6 months ago to go after that. And my site didn't rank on the first page, I think only for, a handful of keywords. So with those mass page builders, they don't rank very well at all unless you have something like this, something they can use to actually SEO the hell out of it. And I think the functionality of this is, it's insane compared to what I had. I couldn't pull content, I couldn't pull images. I had to have somebody in the Philippines write that shit for me, So, that's, and I'm like you, I'm lazy too. It's not something I want to be doing. Would I do it again? Probably not. Would I be doing it again if I had a software like this? Like, now my eyes are kind of open, like the ideas that were coming to me as I was working on that site suddenly seem like they're feasible now. So what I'm saying is, seeing this presentation, like this is the tool that I wish I had a year ago, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh man, I would have loved to have this. It's such a powerful tool. It gets the results so fast. I know that having a basic SEO education obviously is going to help people do better. But the nice thing about this SERPtech is it kind of is almost like a paint by color sort of thing, where it's forcing you into proper structure. It's forcing you into proper, like image alt tags and stuff like that, and silos and stuff like that. It's just kind of forcing. But the more you know about SEO, obviously, the more powerful of a tool that this can become.
Right.
So I mean, man, if I would have had this 2 years ago, it would have been great. Absolutely great. The other thing too I want to mention to you, Gene, I think it's Gene. I don't want to comment too much about other people's products on this webinar. We are starting to do. We're putting ourselves up against other guys, same builds, same size, and so far we're kicking ass. We're beating everybody hands down with speed, with the amount of rankings. And one thing I've heard a lot is our user interface is so much more simple. It's so much more like an image is an image, and a tag is a WordPress tag, and you know what I mean? Like a category is a category, a post is a post. So it's fast. It's really, really fast to execute these. So the learning curve, I believe, is a little bit lower.
The learning curve on that mass page builder I used was insane. It took me, I literally had a friend of mine and I came up with that project idea, and he was moving to New York in about 2 weeks, and we were like, look, we got 2 weeks, let's launch this thing. What can we do? And we had like whiteboards and shit, and we were like mapping out all of our site structure and all this. And yeah, we ended up launching that car donation site, but it took 2 weeks. So
Right.
What you just did took, an hour, if that.
Yeah, like I mean the prep work plus what you guys saw. I think what I did on the build was, I don't even know, I didn't time it really today. It was like 20 minutes, but it was another like 20 minutes of work to get the domain registered and the keywords and stuff like that put together. It was very, very quick. Gene remembers you, Todd, from way back in the day.
I know. I was just now reading that, and yeah, that was actually kind of what started it all. That's what started SEO hosting and everything, was what he's talking about right there. Absolutely. Pair.com was I remember all that now.
Yeah, cloaking. I remember cloaking is, and to be honest, I see a lot of similarities in what we're doing to what Cloakers did. I haven't seen it on WordPress until now, especially with what you're going to see tomorrow, like short coding and stuff like that. It's so fast. It's so fast. Can you build affiliate sites? Yes, you can build affiliate style sites if you wish. Obviously, the software was designed to build more local, but you can build affiliate because all you're really doing basically is building a silo, like a category, and then the subcategories of that category. So like a category could be like weight loss pills, and then another category could be like weight loss shakes, and another category could be like weight loss supplements, right? So it's just in how you build that initial CSV, but you can definitely swap out local keywords for like different categories and build like affiliate sites or lead gen sites. That's what these are, and the one that I'm building today is obviously meant for like more like, well, we're going to show you a couple things tomorrow. Actually, we're going to show you 4 different things that you can do, and they're all pretty awesome. But I came from like a rank and rent. I started as it was kind of crazy. I started as like one of those agent SEOs where you start out without any results at all, and you build an agency website and you think you know what you're doing with SEO. So you try to rank your agency website, and the reason why you're trying to rank your like Edmonton SEO or whatever, the reason you're doing that is so when you go to a prospective client and try and take their money, you at least have them something to show to them. Like, okay, look, well, I rank my own business. I can do it for you too, right? We try and do that, but with SERPtech, guys, like we're going to show you like what I call like a USP, a unique selling position. We're going to show you a few of them and how to sell these. You eliminate the need to try and prove yourself to a client because we're coming in with proof already there on these sites, specifically in their niche or in their market. And it's just nobody even questions you when you're like, look, I'm ranking for 300 keywords in your city, in your niche. you know, we'll show you that all tomorrow, but it's pretty amazing.
Hey, Herc, I cheated a little bit early.
You cheated.
I did.
What'd you do?
Well, you know, guys, whenever we build these sites, one of the rules we tell everybody is, you know, don't start checking everything for a little while, or at least don't do it very much. Sometimes it can halt up, you know, the indexing and whatnot. But check your private chat, Herc. And is garage insulation pretty popular in Canada?
Yeah, man, it's cold.
That's what I thought.
It's so cold.
Can you check your check that link I sent you? It's in your GoToWebinar chat. Garage insulation.
Was it this one? Here, just tell me what I'll check.
Yeah, that's it.
Cause I'm in. Wait, let me put that in there. Are you seeing rankings? You check here. Let me do this. I'll check the site. Yeah, because I'm in Canada.
You're on, but you're looking at.
Oh, this is what came up from the link that you sent me.
Hit search on that.
Yeah, I did. But I'm in Canada, so you might be seeing something faster than I am.
Oh yeah, you're number one.
Well, here's let me do this, guys. So if you guys can remember, and now we weren't supposed to do this for 24 hours, obviously, but do you guys want to kind of see how many pages we got indexed? How long has it been, by the way? Where are we at? Like 30 minutes now?
Well, it's been 14 minutes since you finished the build. 14 minutes since indexation.
Okay, so please, guys, don't go do what we're doing right now because these can affect the rankings. But we sent 100. We told Google we have 100 pages, right? And Google's already indexed 91 of them. It's been literally minutes since we've done it, and they're already there. So what I can do is like search Google for some of these titles and keywords. And Todd's already seeing some of them ranking, so it can happen really, really fast. Pritis, let's see.
Go to Pritis Garage Insulation. I have that as number one.
Oh, there we go. There it is, guys. Pritis Garage Insulation Companies. After the ads, Cozy Bros, Cozy Bros, Cozy Bros, Cozy Bros. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's literally minutes. So we said 24 hours, but we're already ranking in the first 4 spots for garage insulation and Pritis.
Yeah, I went and checked some of the garage insulation keywords there because I know that, you know, that's obviously a big deal in Canada is to have your garage insulated. And it's a little bit of an, you know, it's kind of niched down a little bit where, you know, it's not as competitive as the number one keyword in that industry, but it just kind of gives you the idea of how well Google already likes these sites. And it's only been 14 minutes. And I already went through several, and there's lots of page ones.
Yeah, so even though we weren't supposed to do this, yeah, it's already ranking. That's what I'm talking about, speed, okay? And some people say, you know, can we do it fast? Yeah, we absolutely can. We just showed you we're already ranking number 1, 2, 3, 4 for that garage keyword in Pritis or wherever it was. But what I'll do for you guys, since we Todd cheated on us, is I'm going to get together a big list of all the keywords and all the locations that we're going after, and I'll throw them into a rank tracking service, Pro Rank Tracker, so that you can get a full scope. Tomorrow when you guys come back on the webinar and we show you how to monetize rankings, the first thing we'll do is show you how did this site really do in a big way with lots of keywords. So our goal here is obviously hundreds of page ones. We've already got, there's another one.
Another number 1,
2, 3. So there's Cozy Bros, okay? And you can even see Google indexed it 44 minutes ago, even though obviously it wasn't built 44 minutes ago, so they're off by that. But we'll get tons of these guys, hopefully. We already got some now, so that's a pretty good indication of how far it's going to go. So you guys suck, man. Well, yeah, the reason why, Gene, is we want, like, they do also, over time, they mature, right? Like Google visits the pages, and as they're finding new pages, they index new pages, and when they index new pages, we rank for more keywords, obviously, right? So 24 hours, you know, we say that initially to be safe, to hope that we can do it. Obviously, we just did it in less than an hour, but we'll get a lot more rankings over the next 24 hours than we have right now. But this is pretty crazy already. This is awesome.
Quick question I've seen a couple of times here. Can it be used on existing sites, or do you need to start from scratch? What we recommend is you absolutely start from scratch. If you'll notice that the .pro domain that's we were registered here, you can get those at Namecheap for 88 cents, and it's actually a whole plethora of 88-cent domains. And so we just like to do it that way. We do know some people that have been adding SerpTech builds to an existing site, but we really do not recommend that you do that, only because you're going to throw off the the kilter, so to speak, of what's going on currently, and there's really no way of knowing whether or not that's going to affect your existing build positively or negatively. Because if you've been in this long enough, you already know that once you have a property and it's doing well, you don't really want to touch it that much. All right, and if it's not doing well, then by all means, go Frankenstein on it and do whatever you want, or try different things to make it get to where you need it to be. But the short answer is, we don't recommend putting it on existing sites. We recommend getting an 88-cent domain, and spending keyword research plus the build is roughly an hour on average. Depending on how much experience and your system is, right? Because once you get doing this thing, it's just over and over and over. It kind of gets repetitive, but you can do them really, really fast. So it's always best just to get a brand new domain and get a real good feel for exactly how things work, and then perhaps later on you could try it on an existing site that just you can't get any traction on. And by all means, if you have a site that has no rankings and no traffic, and you want to try something on it, then go right ahead. But just be aware that don't really know. It's a 50-50 chance on how Google's going to react positively or negatively. So
I'm just seeing all kinds of them now.
Oh, I know. I checked the first 4 or 5, and I was like, oh my gosh. What?
Okay, so I think we did our job here. I think we can prove that we can rank in 24 hours.
You guys did a job well done, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is crazy. Like, when I heard about this and saw this, I'm like, this is nuts. Like, it is insane that this does this.
Yeah, guys, and that's not this one. This one in particular is having really, really phenomenal number ones this early on. We didn't bring this to you with a 50-50 chance of it working, right? I mean, this is very consistent. I don't think we've ever failed this test since we've been doing it, and this wasn't a fluke. We were pretty sure we were going to get somewhere, but I'm absolutely amazed at the number of number ones in 40 minutes. That's really, really good.
Yeah, like this is, if you guys can see this, and if you want to like come back and watch the replay, these are all the sites that I built. I've never gotten skunked once, not once.
Yeah.
I rank everything.
Oh, that's awesome. I don't know. What do you sharks think? Let's get some ones in the chat box if this is pretty awesome. Like, I know you guys. Yeah, I know Gene's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick and I were super excited to show you guys this, because like when we saw this, we were like, holy cow, this change. I mean, this is a game changer. It's definitely going to change things in our business,
Yeah, absolutely. And there's already questions about, how does overlay work, and how we're going to get someone to want to rent this from us and things like that. And some of you are probably already familiar with some of the overlay technologies out there, but I promise you've never seen what we have tomorrow to round this all out. Herc already mentioned that we're going to go over various monetization methods with our other software tomorrow. But today, again, we just really wanted to come on here. We wanted to build a site live in front of your eyes. I know there's a lot of guys out there who will throw together a slide presentation of something they did in the past and sell you on what they did however long ago with whatever smoke and mirrors, whatever tricks they used, and then sell you that's can happen as well. What we wanted to come on here and do, this is why because we could obviously go back and pull back rankings from 2 months ago and say, look what we did. But we feel that's it's more important and more transparent to come on here and show you a domain we registered 3 hours ago that we built before your eyes, and you can see what it did. There are no tricks. There are no smoke and mirrors. This is out of the box from the start. This is it. And
you know what I'm noticing here too as I'm going through the rankings?
what's that?
And I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but when we do rank, where do we rank? I haven't seen a single one that's ranking that isn't in the number 1 position.
Number 1.
Number 1 every time.
Yeah.
It's not like number 5, number 6. I'm not saying that won't happen, but for this particular site, we're either ranking number 1 or ranking multiple number 1, 2, 3.
And lots of 1, 2, 3s too.
Lots. Yeah. I can't wait to show you guys the full rankings.
Yeah, and I think the big other thing about this too is like this is just step 1, right?
Mhm.
So for all you sharks that are on this call, make sure you get here tomorrow, because when you see how they monetize this, it is like going to blow your mind. It is, I mean, it's crazy. But this is just this is just step 1, right?
Yeah, I had a sneak peek at how they're kind of monetizing it, and like that a couple questions ago, we had somebody say, like, can we add this onto an existing site? When you see how they monetize this thing, you're not going to want to or have any need to add it onto an existing site. I mean, that would be stupid. You know what I mean? You start from scratch, you build an empire like this, and you monetize the hell out of it. It's going to be awesome.
Pete, what's going on, bud? You're late. Can you show me how to build the site?
Pete, we got about 4 minutes left.
Yeah. We did show it though. We did show how we built the site from scratch.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get this rendered and get this replay up tonight. I'm really hopeful that we can get it up there tonight, and Tom and Nick will email you guys again the replay link, and yeah, so not to worry, you will be able to catch the first 30 minutes where we put this together. I guess maybe he wants to see the front end. Show him the front end of that, just since he's here.
Just like the actual site.
Yeah, the homepage.
This beautiful.
It's gonna blow
black
you
and white.
away. It's so awesome. I mean, just it's
Newspaper.
magnificent.
That's insulation right there. I think I have the same jacket. It's just pink, not red. No, it's not much, man. Like honestly, it's not much, but it's powerful. The rankings, it's been less than an hour, and we're already seeing dominating the top 3 spots for multiple keywords. So, and as amazing as this is, guys, it still blows me away every time I build a site that it's still working so powerfully well. Wait till you see tomorrow. You just really, guys, have to come tomorrow and see what we do, because the other piece of software is just as impressive, if not maybe more impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Kathleen, that's great. She's like, have you made any sites that actually look good? Doesn't matter, Kathleen. That's what tomorrow is all about.
If you wanted to spend the time and turn a big header into a big call to action or something like that, you're more than welcome to to do things like that. I mean, this is obviously still just a WordPress site. It is still just as flexible. It is still just as changeable. Now, don't change the content. Don't change the interlinking. Don't lose all the stuff that makes it rank and makes Google love it. But as far as spending some time and I could see a big tall header banner up there that says the call to action with phone numbers and a little contact form and things like that. Yeah, sure, if that's what you want to do. But we've got a better solution.
Yeah, and remember, guys, when you registered for the webinar today, you're automatically signed up for the training tomorrow. So you'll get a reminder, and we'll be here again tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern.
There is one question I want to answer. Peter here says, can this work for a preschool client I have? Peter, this can work literally in any location and any niche. Not even just local. But we could have targeted the entire state of Alberta and all the cities within it. We didn't. We just did it small to show you guys what it can do. You can target multiple states, multiple cities. But I just wanted to show you guys can we dominate a city of 1 million people for all kinds of insulation keywords. We're literally probably the #1 ranking insulation thing within an hour in Calgary, Alberta. But you can do it in any niche that you want. A preschooler can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't get over how crazy this is because the lead gen sites that I built, it's like there was nothing worse than sitting there and waiting for them to start ranking so that you could start to make some money. Like that was just like excruciating.
Yeah, you could do, Peter. You could do it in New York City. Absolutely. What I would do, just to kind of give you, I go over to New York. You could actually take the state down. You could take the entire state down, if you wanted to. But if you just wanted to go into where's actual? Look at me as a Canadian. I don't know where Long Island is. Hello. Here, let's do it this way. Or do New York, New York. There we go. Duh. So you could zoom in and then, like, you know, say New York was the top that you wanted to rank for everything in New York. You could take all these like Bushwick and Ridgewood and Brooklyn, Crown Heights, and Gonis, and rank for all Lower Manhattan, East Village, rank for all the suburbs of New York, or you could rank for all the cities in New York, like Newark, New Jersey, Elizabeth, and make it a state. It's very flexible. The way you want to do it. Like, actually, I'll even show you guys this just to give you another example. The one website I showed early on with the rankings, let me just show this real quick. It was Asbestos Law Pro for lawyers. Here's the locations that I went after, just to show you guys how flexible it is. Okay, these are the states that I went after. 4 states, okay? And what I did is, like, obviously, since I'm going after asbestos, I went to Google and I said which states in the United States have the highest levels of mesothelioma cancer, which is caused by asbestos insulation. And it was these 4 states. These are the highest levels of asbestos use and cancer. So I went after all 4 states and every city with a population of over 20,000. And you can see there they are. And that site, I'll show you, oops, sorry, let me just quickly bring it up here. Site asbestoslaw.pro. We got 5,300 results, and like it's ranking like absolute like boss man. And the funniest thing about it too is, like, there it is right there, like Ohio. We're ranking above like huge law firms and stuff like that. I'll tell you the truth about this site. The one that you guys just saw me build, remember that we built it in less than an hour. We didn't do any search engine optimization to it other than what the plugin allowed us to do, but we didn't build links. We didn't do social, no press releases, no citations, none of that stuff, right? It ranked that way. But this particular site, I built one link to it. I built one single link to it, and now I'm ranking like crazy good. So, and if you guys want, just go through do site search Asbestos Law Pro, and then just start searching. You could grab like some of the main keywords in the titles, and just search Google for them, and you'll see it for yourselves. Like, there it is, Asbestos Law Pro, Asbestos Law Pro, Asbestos Law Pro, over top of these like big ass lawyer sites. So it works really, really well, and we ranked in 4 states. So I showed you one city today, but I also showed you that we can do it, statewide if you want to, multiple states.
Yeah, that is freaking awesome.
And it's just as fast, actually, when you execute the build. It's still, like, it doesn't, if you want to target more areas, it doesn't take any more time, like maybe a few more seconds to type in a few more locations, but that's really it. Yeah, any size city, sticking power is great, Gene. We have all kinds of members that have, nobody's losing sites. Actually, I think we're getting close to 1,000 members, and that's kind of where we're going to cap our usage at. And out of 1,000 members that are building, multiple sites, not a single one has lost a site. Not one single person has lost a site. So they definitely stick. No, Peter, I didn't. For today's build, it's brand new, so I literally didn't have time to go build links or do any social or anything, really. All I did was build the site, and it's ranking with nothing, just other than what the site is.
Yeah, well, this is really. Oh, sorry.
No, it's impressive. It works.
Yeah, it's like a magic trick.
Yeah, Gene.
In my emails, I called it SEO magic. I didn't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, Pete brings up a good point here. So he's like, are you going after low-hanging keywords? And that's a great point. Like what we are going after, like, you know, service location based keywords on a massive scale, right? But remember that as an SEO, like if I wanted to rank for like plumber Calgary, okay, which is obviously like the most pimpin' keyword in the city of Calgary for plumbers, I have to at least probably do the amount of backlinks and SEO that the #1 guy did, right? So I'm not saying with SERPTech you're going to rank for plumber Calgary, but you are going to rank for so many other keywords that you're still going to get traffic. And the way that Google reads these sites and looks at these sites, they love them so much that when you do send backlinks to the sites, that's how I'm ranking for like asbestos. What was it? Asbestos prosecutor Chicago. Okay, huge city, one link, and it brought me to the top with 3 listings, like #1, 2, and 3. So I'm not saying out of the gate you're going to rank for the biggest, hardest stuff in the world. We're honestly not saying that. But do a little bit of SEO, and you'll be so surprised at what you can achieve, especially when your pages are done right. That's the thing I think a lot of people miss about proper on-page optimization. If you don't optimize your sites properly, if Google comes to your site and reads it and they don't really understand what it's about because you've confused them with bad URL structure or bad silo structure, bad interlinking structure, any of these practices, if you kind of mess them up, Google gets confused about what your site is really about. So you can build as many backlinks as you want, but you're probably just confusing them more and you're not getting results. Like I can't tell you how many people are like, man, the more links I send, I can't get results. I can't get results. They're getting frustrated. But all they really need to do, rather than spend more money and build more links, is properly optimize their site, right? And when you do that, it's way less links, it's way less time, and you rank a lot faster because Google truly understands what your site is about.
So true. So true.
Peter, yeah, there's an indexer actually built into the plugin that we showed. We should almost just run the whole webinar again. It only takes the No, that's it. We'll kind of, unless there's any more questions, I think we can probably end it there, and then we'll come back tomorrow and show you guys. Oh, thanks, Gerald. Alex Becker's kind of one of my early coaches.
All right, guys. Well, I told you guys we were going to get you out of here in about an hour and a half, and we were about 5 minutes away from that point, but we will be here to answer a few more questions. If you still have a few questions, go ahead and type them in now, and we will get to them right away and let you guys go. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We will be back tomorrow, and you know, tomorrow we'll still answer your questions as well. You're probably going to have a lot more questions tomorrow regarding everything as a whole. We usually do. We typically go a little bit longer tomorrow, just so you're aware. This kind of depends on the questions and the Q&A there at the end. So
yeah, Pete, if you catch that, if you watch the replay, we'll try to have it up tonight. But yeah, I mean, we didn't really have to optimize the site because SERPTech kind of forces you into optimizing it, but you'll see what we did when you watch that replay. And of course, anybody that ends up, you know, joining up with this, we obviously teach like a lot more advanced stuff, but I just built it right out of the box here, guys. I didn't change or do too many fancy bells and whistles stuff. I just took it right out of the box, followed the, you know, IKEA instructions, and we were already ranking #1 live on the webinar, so it's pretty awesome. It's going to be $47, Peter. No, we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, well, listen, we really appreciate you guys coming on the webinar tonight and bringing this to the Sharks. We have an awesome group, a lot of SEO people in there, and Nick and I knew that they were going to love this stuff. So really, thanks again for taking the time, and we look forward to what you have for us tomorrow. We will be here same time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. As soon as we get the replay, I'll get that out. Try to get that out to you guys as fast as possible. So if you need to watch it before the training tomorrow, you can get that under your belt. So
awesome. Thanks for having us on, guys.
Yep. Thanks for having us. Take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
awesome. See you
Thanks,
tomorrow.
guys.
Bye-bye.